Good evening, Inspired Fitness Academy one-stop shop. My name's Sara Shreve and I'm from the Image Tree. I've been doing this since April. I used to do a slot on a Thursday and now I'm here on a Monday. So if you don't know me or haven't seen me before, I'm an image consultant, coach and body positive advocate who basically uses a holistic approach really to work predominantly with women, but I do work with men, on how to love your body and where you're happy. So bridge the gap between your mind, how you think about yourself, and how you look, your body, what you're actually rocking and how amazing your body is, and then using the wardrobe to then use clothes to find your authenticity and dress what you already have. Rock what you've already got. That's me. So tonight I really wanted to just discuss with you a few things really and just have a chat about the relationship that we have with food and how that can affect our body image. So I, see a lot of clients, and for more often than not, there is a correlation between how they think they look, and their weight, and their attractiveness, and all those sorts of things. And it has a bit of an effect on how they eat and how they have a relationship with food. So, what does food mean to you? How do you see food? Is it something that you enjoy? Do you find that you're always questioning what you eat? Do you think you have good days and bad days? Are you in diet culture? You want to go on a diet, or you want to lose weight, or whatever? Because I think it's really good to have a conversation around food. I've got notes here. I'm just going to read through because I was just writing things down today. I just wanted to discuss that I come across a lot, and I thought it'd be really good to share. And you can always put your comments in. These are just my opinions and findings, and I've done a little bit of reading as well on this for many years. So bear with me. Just listen. You can write whatever you think. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just an image coach. Well, not just, but our self-worth stems from within. So it's not just about the clothes, it's where we're coming from and how we perceive ourselves. So, do you think that some food is good and some food is bad? Most of the time, we see the good stuff as low fat, low calorie, green, natural, raw, it's colourful, and when we eat it, it tends to make us feel quite virtuous and quite worthy. You think, oh, we're being good today, and we're having a good week. Whereas the bad food, we tend to think is beige, carbs, fat, junky, the stuff that we stash and that we dream of when we're not supposed to be eating it if we're on a diet. And we tell ourselves that we're naughty if we eat them, which really, what is that saying? You're naughty. Are you? Or you're not really. Food is food. What happened to having the good stuff from time to time? Eating a bit of what we fancy. It's all about balance at the end of the day. And if you do eat something that doesn't fit in those groups, then why should we berate ourselves and feel that we're being naughty? Listen to the words, good or bad, clean or healthy. It's not great. And if you're in slimming world and stuff, sins, it's not a great word to use, is it? Let's be honest. So these are just thoughts. So food in itself, we need it. It's necessary for our body to function properly. When your tank is empty, your brain tells you so, and you eat to respond. Okay? That is what food is for. I know this is common sense, but we get a bit warped with food, which I'll explain with later. The principle is when we're full, we stop eating. Now, in essence, this is not as straightforward as it sounds. Most people do, some people don't. Some people don't feel full. Some people eat for different reasons rather than just for being hungry. Because what happens is, in all that mix of hunger, and we don't hear the signals, and also our emotions, rituals, ideas and memories can make eating a little bit more confusing. We also have 24 hours of food availability, takeaways, we have the cupboards, local shops, online shopping, we have access to it. So our whole routine around food has changed. No, we are no longer hunting and gathering our food. If there's food, we eat it, okay, because it's there and we have access to it. But when did we actually stop enjoying food? Who actually enjoys food? Who sits there and goes, I'm eating this because I want to eat this, not because I feel I should or I shouldn't? When did we actually stop enjoying food? I mean, that is a question. If your day runs through and you're thinking about what you should be eating at certain times, maybe I should eat that, I'm having a good day, a bad day, is that naughty, do I need to be healthy, you know, am I weighing myself, if that's happening, then food has a bit more of a control and a bit more of an issue. What we want to be doing is eating mindfully. I'll explain that in a moment. So I've mentioned the word diet. Now, the word itself in the animal kingdom, it's basically a diet means what that animal eats. So a koala would eat the old eucalyptus? Yeah. A lion will eat the antelope or the meat. You know, it doesn't eat berries or whatever stuff. It just eats. That's its diet. But in our situation, in our world, diet has social connotations. Diet means lack. It means control. And it also has that classification of reducing your intake to become thinner or to be deemed slimmer, which in society, in Western society, is deemed healthier. So it's about reducing and cutting things out, a diet in our society. Is that right? We're omnivores, so our diet should be everything. We do have a choice as human beings. We can be a pescatarian, which is the fish. We can be vegan. We can be vegetarian. There are arguments anthropologically that we could be we should have been, or we were herbivores. But, you know, the scientists have said that due to our teeth and how they're set with incisors and canines and the molars and everything going on, that we are omnivores. So that's meat and veg and fruit and everything in between. So we've got this word diet, and it's being thrown around to try and create this ideal of being slim, because that apparently means you're healthy. And then you've got a £1 billion industry that feeds that and fuels that by telling you that you should eat this and you should eat that. And then there's all these different diets and use kale and superfoods and this helps and this helps. It's really, really confusing. And like, again, we start eating things that probably we wouldn't eat before, which is good. It's always good to try new things, but sometimes we might feel that we're eating it because we were told to eat it, because we're supposed to eat it, or maybe we just don't want to eat it, you know. We all have those cravings where we want to eat a burger when we shouldn't because we feel it's bad, especially if we're on a diet and things like that. But what happens if you do want a burger? Maybe you had something healthy yesterday because your stomach or your brain said, you know, I fancy a salad or I fancy rice or something, and then the next day you do want a burger and you would like the chips, and it varies. And isn't that what being an omnivore is about? I mean, it's about quality, not quantity. We can reduce our sizes of food and things like that, but at the end of the day we should be mindful eating, because we've forgotten how to do it with all this confusion and routine and things like that. You know, I understand that eating healthy is a good thing. There is quality in certain foods. Health reasons, if you're celiac, they advise gluten-free. Some people have given up. I particularly like to drink soya. I prefer that because I've read again that it helps with perimenopausal symptoms, and I have to say I have felt better. Maybe it's psychosomatic, I don't know, but I do feel better since I've cut out the milk. So I am making healthy choices and I actually enjoy them. If you actually enjoy the foods, then it doesn't control you. If you're eating them because you feel you should, then you're not eating it for the right reason. If you enjoy doing anything, it's always for the right reason. The moment you start weighing yourself or eating food that you think you should eat, you're handing your power over to something else. And you know, science changes and research changes, and chocolate's good one week, chocolate's bad it's bad the next week. Too much wine is good, then red wine's good, or red wine's bad. It's really confusing. So I just go with the rule of thumb that a little bit of everything is okay. That's my rule. Well, it's not a rule, that's my choice, because I want to eat food that makes me happy. I don't want to be eating things because I feel that I should be. Now, the thing is, with the diet thing as well, I'm just seeing what I've missed here. Food can become an enemy for some people, and that's when you get eating problems, because that control takes over. So, you know, people that are larger than the ideal are accused of being fat and therefore less valuable, unhealthy in some form, whereas the slim are healthy. Well, that's not necessarily true. You can be super slim and super unhealthy. You can be larger and healthy. Any body shape, any body size can be healthy. Any body size, any weight, any shape can be unhealthy. That's what it is about at the end of the day. One is not better than the other. It's just what we see in society as being perceived as better than the other. But it shouldn't be like that. Everybody is different. You know, we need to celebrate all bodies, because we don't, just because the outside, what we see, doesn't reflect what's going on in the inside. And the diet culture, you know, they give you the promise that it will work, you know, and it does in the short term. You know, you will lose the weight if you stick to it, but how does that make you feel? Are you happy? Who's ever happy on a diet? They make you miserable because they're telling you what you can't have. A lot of them have changed, and they've said it's more about well-being. If you have a little bit of this, you know, nothing's cut out, and it's masquerading as healthy lifestyle. Well, in fact, you're still following a plan, and you're still being told what you can and what you can't do. Sometimes it's okay because it does lead to healthier eating, and that you don't need that, and then you actually enjoy healthier alternatives. But that's your choice. At the end of the day, it's your choice. If you want the unhealthy one day, you have the unhealthy one day, or not, as ever, whatever it is that you need to follow. But you need to follow your own truth, and that's the most important thing. The other thing about diets are, there is a theory that we all have a set point in which it's like sometimes when you plateau, you lose the weight and then you hit a plateau, and no matter what you do, you're really healthy, you're even exercising, and you can't lose any more, because your brain doesn't want you to starve, and that's what it thinks it's doing. So it tries to prevent you from starving. So it will always try and go back to that set point weight that some scientists believe, because this is just a theory that I'm just sharing with you. It's not right or wrong, it's just a theory, that you will return back to that set point, which is your weight for you, okay? Not BMI or not anything else, it's for you. And some people's are higher and some people are lower than the norm, whatever the norm is. You can look into that. And you know, it's one of those things that we have to take with a pinch of salt. But what it does is, that is you are not programmed to diet. You know, your body does not want you to starve, just as it doesn't want you to overfeed itself. It's like if you go to a car and you put petrol in a tank. When it's empty, you fill it up to what it needs to be. You can't keep filling up petrol because it just overflows, okay? And so if you take it into that principle, then we can apply that with ourselves. We don't need to overfeed ourselves. There is plenty of food. We've just forgotten sometimes that we're full, and that we eat for different reasons. We can eat emotionally, you know, and, you know, it has that sort of effect. So the diet culture really is a belief system. I'm just going to read this definition: that focus on and values weight, shape and size over well-being. Variations of diet culture also include rigid eating patterns that on the surface are in the name of health, but in reality are about weight, shape, or size. And this really needs to be challenged because, like I've said, there are healthy and there are unhealthy people in all shapes and sizes. And it's down, to individuals. There is, you've heard of anorexia, you've heard of bulimia. Bulimia is starving yourself. This is basic. And then feeling the guilt and then binging. And then anorexia is about the not eating to lose weight because they have poor body image. At the end of the day, it's, they are terrible illnesses and they do take lives and they, ruin people's lives. But there's also one called orthorexia, which is something that's cropped up in the last 10 years. And it is an addiction to just eating pure and healthy. That can be a problem too, because when it comes to being controlling, it becomes a problem. Okay, so being green and pure, it's not about losing weight for those people. It's about eating quality and being absolutely healthy to the T. Now, there's nothing wrong in eating healthy, but when it starts to take over your life, then it becomes a problem. So, food, again, this relationship with food can be a very slippery slope, and that's because of this control. And all bodies are good bodies at the end of the day, and we need to respect them and just try and be a little bit mindful. So mindful eating can be about trusting yourself. And what it's about is getting rid of the associations you have with food. Is recognizing that you reach for the ice cream when you're feeling a bit sorry for yourself, or having not necessarily a glass of wine, but chocolate when you want to cheer yourself up. It's all these emotions. Also rituals. We have lovely rituals with food, like birthdays. We have cake and things like that. And when you start denying yourself these things because of this or because of that, it becomes controlling, and that's the unhealthy relationship around food, where mindful eating can sometimes go out of the door. So, not eating because, how many people eat when they're not hungry, really? I do. I've done it. I've gone, I fancy that because somebody's got some and I think I'll have some. Am I hungry? Not really. But if you become more mindful of these practices and stop eating when you're full, and just eat when you're hungry. When you start to feel hungry, that is the best time. When you're starving, it's not the best time, because that's when you start reaching for calorific stuff because you're so hungry and your energy levels are low. They say don't go food shopping on an empty stomach because you reach for different things, and that's probably true. So, just start listening to what you want to eat. If you want to eat the cake, eat the cake, because you need to trust yourself. You don't need a diet. It takes a while, but when you start listening to yourself, your body will not say cake 24/7. It will not say cake every single day. It might say cake the first day. You might eat the things that you really like, but the next day you can ask yourself, what do I want to eat? And you will find yourself naturally thinking about something healthier or something tasty, or you might try an alternative to something that you really enjoy but think, I might try eating it this way. You might cook for yourself more. It's the ripple effect of mindful eating. You need to trust yourself, okay? You can eat better. You can eat more mindfully. It's just a process of eating slower, tasting it. We all like a McDonald's. I like one from time to time. I'll eat it and I'll enjoy it. Another day I'll eat it with my children and I think this tastes terrible. And then the next day I might think, I think I might have something else today. I think I might go vegetarian today. I feel I would like some vegetables today. And just go with the flow. Trust your body. I've done it and I feel much better for it. It might be difficult, but it's down to trust at the end of the day. You can trust your body. Don't automatically presume that you're just going to eat rubbish, okay? Because it's like if you worked in a chocolate factory. They say if you work in the chocolate factory, you soon get sick of chocolate, okay? And it's the same principle. So be more mindful about it and trust your body. And taste it and enjoy it. And just remember that food is not a reward, nor is it a punishment. okay? You're eating food to sustain yourself and to be healthy and for your body and your brain to function, which you cannot do without food, okay? So if you try and dispel all the associations, or just be mindful when you reach for it, but don't knock yourself out about it. It doesn't matter. Just be mindful, and then next time the urge may go. I mean, it's okay me saying this, but you just have to try and trust in yourself, and just let go of the associations, because the emotions are fueling the eating. It's not the food that's the problem, okay? We've learnt things, and that's okay. It's okay not being okay, as they all say. So the other thing I want to talk about food, just briefly, is the seasons are changing this week. We're going into autumn. I think it's officially the autumn equinox this week. Now, the thing is, we are seasonal eaters. Again, we've forgotten this, like, the mindful eating business. And the days get shorter, and the nights get longer. We used to eat our harvest, bring our harvests in, and we would use autumn and winter to conserve our energy, reflect on the year, enjoy what we've reaped for the year, and we would reach for the more stodgier stuff, that I would say, like your stews and things like that, and all the food that's coming in that's seasonal, your pumpkins and your swedes and your root vegetables and your purple sprouting broccoli and all that sort of thing. And to eat seasonally it's there for a reason. That's what nature does. It provides. And I think if we can be more mindful of the seasons and eat what's available, then our love of cooking comes back. With the night stock, we've got more time to eat, prepare these things. In our house, the Sunday dinner comes back on a Sunday. Sunday dinner doesn't really work in summer, and salads for us, don't really taste the same in autumn, because you're trying to keep warm, essentially. And get over the autumn winter months and be reflective, ready for the rebirth of spring. So food should be fun, food should be good, it shouldn't be controlling. So be aware of the changes and eat with the change, okay? It's okay to eat with the change and be seasonal. It's about the harvest and celebrating the good stuff. Festivities at Christmas, it's about family and reflection. It shouldn't be about, oh my God, I shouldn't be eating that, or I've overdone it, which we do in January. We beat ourselves with a big stick, and you're basically torturing yourself and punishing yourself for having a good time. You know what I mean? You can still go for exercise, and you can still walk the dog and have your winter walks. Movement is a good thing. And again, movement and exercise should not be a punishment of what you've eaten. It should be something that you enjoy doing, to move and get out into nature and reconnect. Even if you like to hula hoop or dance or, pothole. Exercise could be setting a goal. It could be you fancy running a marathon or swimming a lake or climbing a mountain. Exercise is good for setting goals. It shouldn't be just about losing weight, okay? If you enjoy exercising, that's brilliant. If you hate exercising and you're forcing yourself to do it, like go to the gym, find something else that will make you happy that you still move at. Maybe you fancy a swim, or just a walk, or the Nordic walking, or something. Don't force yourself to do something that makes you miserable, because it just affects your mental health. You're basically you're going against your will, all right? With all the good intentions in the world. So movement is acknowledging something. You could even make it a new hobby, gardening allotments, a bit of yoga. You can do that indoors, although, I think we're 6 and no more at the moment. Do whatever makes you happy. If you like boxing, do that. Yoga, Pilates, hot yoga, anything. Okay, walk the dog. It doesn't matter. Movement is good, and it stops you feeling a bit stiff, which I've found. So how all this food talk, I brought it up because it's quite relative to body image and body positivity, because your relationship with food does affect how you think you look. You might think you're too fat, or you're too wobbly, or other words that you might be quite cruel to yourself. But at the end of the day, it evolves around the relationship we have with food, you know, because food can, again, reward us. It can also punish us, and we use it that way. So if we can practice a bit more self-care on how we feel and how we treat ourselves, it will be reflected in how we eat, because it's nourishment at the end of the day, and it's self-care. And if we have that, or we try and get that happy balance where we enjoy food and we enjoy life, that has a detrimental knock-on effect positively into how we feel about ourselves, because we enjoy life more and there's less control and we feel happier. Okay, so yeah, we don't want it to interfere with our joy. You know, we want to eat out, we want to have that cake with our friends, we want to enjoy that Christmas dinner, and we will have that extra roast potato. Okay, because the next day, Boxing Day, let's be honest, we don't eat that much because we're still stuffed. So again, listen to your body and trust it. So the last thing is be mindful about what you say and the words that you speak, especially because how we feel about ourselves and this whole fat and thin thing, which is, well, I've explained, is nonsense. You know, it's been passed down to us by our parents. Our mums probably criticised us when we were little, and we don't want to pass that on to our children. So we need to try and break that bond and break that passing on. So, you know, if you do like a lot of diets and you're always talking about it verbally, about your weight and things like that, if you've got daughters or sons, be mindful, because they're listening, okay? And they're going to think that that's normal and then pass it on to their children. If you weigh yourself all the time, they're going to see that, and you don't want them to think like that. You don't want to think like that, I'm sure. So be more mindful about what you say to yourself and out loud, and some of the things that, you know, the reward and punishment of food and things like that, trying to force our values onto them, because it's, you know, we don't always know we're doing it, and we've just got to give ourselves a bit of a break, but also be more mindful to ourselves so that we can pass that on. So be nicer to yourself, say nicer things to yourself, and give yourself a break, and enjoy food and taste food. Okay, enjoy it. That's what it's for. So on that note, I have 2 memes that I printed out. I always like to print something out. So the first thing is, a healthy relationship with food isn't just about what you're eating, it's about what you're thinking and feeling while you're eating. Okay, so remember that. I'll put it on the comments so you can remember that. And lastly, a big lover of Megan Jane Crabb, who is Body Posy Panda on Instagram. If you've got young daughters or just for yourself, follow her. She's amazing. She had an eating problem and she came out the other end with mindful eating. So she is an inspiration. And her quote is, "Hating our bodies is something that we learn, and it sure as hell is something that we can unlearn." Okay? Wise words. All right. And on that note, I've done all my pondering and I've shared with you my thoughts, and I just want you to go and enjoy tomorrow and enjoy the rest of the week, no matter what happens, and most of all, enjoy food. Okay? Bye for now.